What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That, of course, is the Freddie Mercury puppet. We're back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, kids. We ain't about to change it now. Before we get into it, I'll address the elephant in the room. You, of course, are looking at the smoldering good looks, the luscious blonde locks. I'm going to confirm for you what you probably already know, that you are looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond David Lee Roth. I don't know if that's a thing to be proud of these days, but there it is. It's on the table, and now we can get down to brass tacks, which, as I said, is another incredible episode. I'm excited about this one. Before my guest gets in here, of course, I'll give you the obligatory promotional spiel because, as you know, if you have a podcast, you have to pimp it. The pimp hand is feeling strong today. Here we go. Make sure to check out Pod Scum on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Don't be confused. I have two shows, the boxing show and the music show, and you can check out both respectively on that Facebook page. Same over on our Instagram. Same handle, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Both of those platforms are great, and we are very active on both of them. Lots of cool shit going on Facebook and Instagram. But if you want to watch and listen to these episodes in their entirety, you can only do that here on our YouTube channel. So if you are here, I invite you, please, to like, subscribe, and most importantly, and this is a critical step right here, do not gloss over this. Make sure to find that notification bell in the upper regions of your screen. And as the kids say nowadays, smash it. This way, you will be privy to when new content drops. And of course, you know how we roll here. We bring you something new every single week. At least one episode, sometimes multiple episodes, depending on how fruitful our week has been. But you know, we don't sit on content here. That is not how we roll here at Pod Scum. We get the stuff out to you ASAP, a week tops. But usually these episodes are just a mere couple of days old. I'm excited to do them. I'm a fan at heart myself, and I'm even more stoked to roll them out to you guys to watch and listen to and hopefully enjoy. So there is that. While we're waiting for my guest to get in here, I also must extend my deepest gratitude because the channel just continues to blow my mind with its growth. That's attributed to several people, viewers, subscribers. Blow me away, the support that you guys have given this channel. 2025 was a kick-ass year for us. It is continuing as we roll into 2026. The support is there. The viewers are up. The subscribers are up. Everything is up. Morale is up. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling inspired. I thought about, truthfully, packing it in, possibly calling it quits after 3+ years of podcasting, but I'm reinvigorated, re-inspired, and I got so many conversations and interviews, in the chamber, so to speak. And I'm looking to run those down for you guys, and I'm excited. So lots of tricks up my sleeve, lots of potential great shit coming your way that I can't wait to bring you guys. So there's that. So the viewers, the subscribers, I must thank you guys. But most importantly, I must thank my guests. I know that it is great to feast your eyes on me. I'm the eye candy of the show, but you really tune in for the amazing conversations that I get to have with these incredible artists. I know where my bread is buttered, kids. So thank you to my guest. And speaking of guests, today's guest is here. So let's get into it and chop it up with him. I'm excited. You're excited. Here we go again. Okay, what's up, my man?
I'm good. How are you?
Now, listen, man, I'm going to give this a shot right here, okay? Because I'm really big on getting names right, man. So I'm going to give this a shot because I like the 2 dots above the first name. So I believe the last name is either Evers or Evers, but that's not what I want to get right here. I want to say that it's GAEL.
Spot on. That was good.
Oh, it feels so good. Already we're off to a good start, man.
I'm really
GAEL. Okay, so let me get the last one right, though. Evers or Evers?
Evers.
Okay, GAEL Evers.
Yes.
I thought about this all day at work, and I sent you an email because I did want to get the pronunciation right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was busy at work today. I don't know if you responded or not, man, but I said, stupid question, man, but I want to know how to pronounce your name.
Oh, I must have missed it.
But
It's,
that's all right. I still just hit a home run.
I know that was really
Right
great.
out of the box, right out of the box, man. So listen, I love when I do interviews like this, man, because I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of musical legends on here, but I
Yeah,
love giving platforms to young up and coming artists, man. I mean, you don't
thank
seem like
you.
you have a huge body of work out right now, but I came
No,
across you organically on social
yeah,
media, and I love what you do.
thank you. I
Yeah,
really appreciate that. That means
yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
Um,
It's great when it happens this way.
yeah, I mean that's you put out a lot of effort on social media because you want that organic reach.
Yeah,
It requires a lot of like just everyday grinding it out, but it's the price for a chance for to get your songs to the world.
yeah.
It's a devil you have to dance with.
You do, you
You
do.
know?
Yeah, it's the age, it's the era that we're in now.
Absolutely,
You got to have a
absolutely.
social media presence nowadays.
Oh yeah, because there's no more mysterious artist thing
Right,
going. Yeah, that those days are gone.
right.
You have to be out there, and also, you know, you have to take into account that your potential audience don't remember a lot. So they can
Right.
see you today, they need to see you tomorrow and the day after. Says it takes about seven times for a person to take action on something.
Yeah.
So you have to give that opportunity for people to decide on you,
Right.
which means you have to be out there all the time, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does help when you're writing catchy, hooky songs, though, man, which you seem to have a knack for doing, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, that
Thank you.
helps. That definitely helps.
Yeah.
And what was your upbringing like, man? Because when I talk to musical artists on here, many of them, not all of them, but many of them get into these the artistic or the art field, the arts, whatever, because it's fostered in their upbringing. Maybe they have musically proficient parents, or at the very least, a lot of records playing in the house, an abundance of music around them. Was this the
Yeah.
case for you?
Not necessarily. Yes and no. I think um, when you're introduced to like church and music at church, you automatically have a curiosity about it. I think that's probably where I would say it began, which is pretty common for a lot of people. It's like, we went to church on Sundays
Right.
and there was a guy with the guitar. And as a kid, that's very fascinating. So, my parents listened to music, but no more or less than any other person. And also, until like Gen Z, I would say the majority of the generations before just generally listened to a lot of music, and there was an element of reverence for it.
Right. Right.
So it was always around. If there was a CD or a tape or a vinyl, that would get played to no end
Right.
because you didn't have a whole lot of options.
Right.
So in that sense, music was around me, whether it's neighbors or whether it's just everywhere. But mostly, I would say just going to church. That was the beginning of finding that.
And do you remember a specific artist or an album or a song that really got its hooks in you? That's like, you know what I mean? Like non-church music, like something that the fans would know.
Yeah. Um, Let me think. There's quite a few because I started feeling music pretty deeply
Yeah.
at a young age. Now that I look back, I realize it wasn't like a normal thing
Yeah.
for a kid to feel that. But this is one of the many, but I think it was Def Leppard's song, um, Love Bites or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Um, I remember being remember being very young, and I mean it already been out for years prior to that, but there was this like videotape with a bunch of like 80s music, like
Yeah.
hits,
You're right.
and that song was in there, and there's something about the music video that was just so rock and roll.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That blew my mind away. And also just you know, the screaming guitars, and but also it was very melodic, a lot of minor chords, and just like, you know, that chug guitar sound and that, you know, drum groove.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, whoa, what is that? I just kept obsessing over that sound. And I'm trying to remember what else was. I think Queen, Somebody to Love.
Yeah.
It was like a, a live performance of it in front of like, I don't know, 100,000. But there was something so like big.
Yeah.
And it was, once again, it's just that loud guitar sound, that something
Yeah.
about the guitar that always got me, the electric guitar specifically. And those are some of the memories of songs where I was just like, wow, that's really beautiful. And then obviously this the stuff like Billie Jeans by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I remember loving that song. Or what else? You know, just your normal like pop songs that was on the radio as a kid, before you kind of become very particular about your own taste,
Right.
what is on the radio. But there were always what I call guitar music that got me all the time.
Yeah.
If there was a song that was my favorite, it was mostly that.
But you're also naming a lot of like, you know, like you know, rock bands. But yet when I listen to your music, you have a very old school throwback type of sound though, where like you even say on your Facebook page, you know, 60s, 70s soul, R&B inspired, you know, with kind of a little bit of a jolt of like, you know, 90s rock.
Yeah, because as I got older, I started developing my own taste.
Yeah.
And you want the more nuanced sounds, right? Something that's a lot more less straightforward. So when I started listening to like Stevie Wonder, Talking Book, that for me was like, whoa, this is, because it's still got its root, you know, to the blues, which for me is the cradle of everything.
Yes.
It's you know, I woke up this morning and I woke up at 5:30 and I was playing the blues because you know, it was raining.
Who the hell's not blue when they're up at 5:30 in the morning?
You know what I mean? So you know, that's always where the eternal source for me is the blues. But I listened to Talking Book by Stevie Wonder, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. But also just like some Motown records, and it's just that, you know, groove, bass and drums, and you just, you know, that. That's why I love D'Angelo, who's also, he's got that funk, soul, R&B.
Rest in peace. We just lost.
Yeah, I know. An amazing, like forever, he was my hero.
Yeah.
So there's that element, and then there's your rock bands. Like, in fact, I'm working on a song right now. As we're done here, I'm going to the studio. It's a heavy blues rock song, you know. So I try and keep around that same, because they kind of live in the same family, really.
Sure.
So I try to make them coexist, because it's important that I introduce those sounds, you know, sometimes in a funky acoustic jam, you know, with drums and bass is all you need. But sometimes you need that heavy drums with some distortion and you know, on a dirty bass. Like all those things are just like such a big part of like the music I'm trying to make, you know.
And so do you do this all on your own, or do you have a band?
So I have people that I work with. They're not a part of my band. I tried that didn't work very well. You know, we're not in the age of bands anymore, because there isn't a lot of incentive as before. But I have drummer. I think I got like 4 different drummers that I work with. Some horn players, some from the UK, some from Ukraine. I have bass guitarists from Brazil, and you name it. So I'm always like, oh, this person would be great to play on on this
Right.
song, and that person would be great to play on that song.
That probably keeps it stimulating creatively, though, getting to work alongside, different people. You know what I mean? Like, I can kind of see the point there. You know what I mean? Like, when you're in a band, there's a solidarity, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Being in a group, treating it like a gang, all for one,
yeah,
all for all. I can see the band side, being good, man. But
yeah,
but being a solo artist and getting to work and rub up against all these other creative types, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
changing the scenery quite a bit would probably be very stimulating too.
Yeah, it is very stimulating. And I think if I was in a band, I certainly would, be very committed and dedicated
Yeah.
to that. Um, but you don't always get the same thing from all the band members.
Right.
It's hard to get 4 or 5 people to be as passionate and to willing to risk as much as necessary or invest time financially,
Sure. Yeah.
whereas I can just wake up in the morning and realize what is the little thing that I can do today in order to push my stuff forward.
Right. You have to make sure that 3 or 4 other guys want to do it that same
Exactly.
day too. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, in theory, having a band, I mean, it's the ultimate. It's like we all kind of want to be in a gang,
Right. Right.
You got your guys, and you step out there and you do your thing, but it doesn't always work like that. Now I'm looking for guns for hire.
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they can do the job, and they're really good at it, and you can just have a blast.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so what is your creative process like? Like when you're writing songs, I know there's a couple schools of thought here, talking to all the artists that I've talked to on here. Some people treat it kind of like a job, punching a clock. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to create some music, I'm going to write, I'm going to stay in this room, I'm going to come up with something. And then there's people that are just getting it throughout the day, sparks of creativity. They're humming stuff on their phone, they're jotting
Yeah.
stuff down. Maybe they're taking a walk, maybe through town or through their city, and they're just coming up with the world is their muse, and it's just kind of coming to them. What's the process like for you?
Um, I I love that question. I've come to accept that you have to take all of it.
Yeah.
That do not have one particular way of doing it, because that's one way to kill creativity.
Yeah.
I find that you do need the discipline. Leonard Cohen, who's my favorite of all time,
Yeah.
he talked about a certain kind of like responsibility and duty to write. It's like, it's my destiny. I was called to do
Right.
this.
Right.
So I'm gonna sit every day and write a couple lines. If inspiration visits, great. Then
Right.
we'll drink a bourbon together.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it doesn't show up, then I'll give a few lines as part of my my duty as a writer, and then I go and live life.
Right.
And I like that sense of discipline, because
Yeah.
it's not always just like fairy dust. It's
Right.
sitting down. Sometimes you have to find inspiration in the discipline,
Right.
and that's where it comes from. And there are moments though where I've had a long day and all I want to do is sleep, and this melody won't leave me,
Yeah.
or a string of lines that start coming up, some really interesting metaphors or similes that I'm like, I gotta put it down, and you just won't be able to sleep until it's done.
Right.
uh,
Right.
and so there's those moments of that, and then it's also like the discipline of going into to record the studio, especially when you're tracking vocals. It's it's physically draining.
Sure.
So you're like, I, it's not about whether I feel like it or not. It's that this has to be done.
Yep. Right.
and
Right.
and you go and you do it.
And so, so the instrument that I've seen on your page, you seem to be playing most of these songs on, is the guitar. Do you play other instruments, or is the guitar the main thing for you?
The guitar is the main thing right now. I don't have a piano, but when I do, I try and put in a lot of work with that. I used to play bass when I was younger. That was my thing, and I played a little drums. But guitar was the one that kind of like stuck with me. And I, f- I feel like it's the one that I have been able to kind of take it a little farther than all the other ones.
Yeah. Now you were
And
based in New York City, correct?
yeah,
Now, I've talked to other artists who are down in New York City. How does the city itself factor into the music and play a part in being the muse? Obviously, you're in a city that's just bubbling with creativity.
yeah,
Lots going on down there. I'm in upstate New York, so I'm
nice.
4 hours. I'm 4 hours from all the exciting part. Every time I tell
Yeah.
someone from New York, they want to know what borough, and I say
Well,
I'm 4 hours from the fun part of New York. You know what I mean? The part that you're thinking of.
yeah. I mean, that's the part where you go and cut a record, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I, is there a muse in New York? I think,
I mean, the city itself must factor into the creativity.
yeah, the way I feel like New York takes part in the creative space is, you know, how you record, or how you you walk. You're probably going to take the train to the studio, and you're going to see it life happening,
Right.
and then you're going to get out, and then so there's that interaction with the city. You are required to really interact with the city everywhere you go.
Sure.
So in that sense, it does play a part, and you could be on the train and an idea comes, or you could be listening to a demo over and over, for the 45 minutes the train decides
Right.
it's going to take. But I find the inspiration is not bound by location anymore. That it's the experience of, whether it's heartbreak or the feeling of restlessness, or like those things, they're not bound to any space.
Right.
I mean, I was in Berlin. When was it? Late December last year, and I still had the blues that I had here in New York.
Yeah.
And you still want to write,
Yeah.
whether it's Berlin or New York, or Helsinki, it doesn't really matter. So I'm not really, I've kind of freed myself from that, because I find that to be somewhat superfluous,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's the game plan now when you are a young artist, man? Because there might be other people who might want to know this. It's difficult to navigate today's music industry. It's not so cut and dry as it used to be, where you had big labels and you put out an album and you had somebody really helping you promote it and sending you out on tour and everything. And there was a formula: put out an album, tour and support it. Put out another one a couple of years later or whatever. We're in the streaming age now. It's much more difficult, man. Do you have a game plan, and how do you attack it nowadays? Individual songs, an EP, an album. Do you have a specific strategy?
Yeah, I do. I mean, what a time it must have been to be able to, I know the music industry has always been problematic to the artists, but the structure, there was a kind of formula that you could work towards.
There was, yeah,
which is great. But in terms of like what my strategy is I'm currently working on releasing an EP.
Okay.
Maybe 4 or 5 songs. I'm still trying to debate. And if I feel like it, I might do 6. Why not?
Yeah.
But 3 or 4 of those will be essentially promotional songs. They're designed to be short and catchy and memorable, and to be able to create stuff around it.
Yeah.
And then the others, whether it's 3 or 2, it's supposed to be an open window into like I am more than just 3 minute 30 seconds.
Right.
I'm quite a lyricist because I'm inspired by Leonard Cohen. So
sure.
I've got a song that's got 4 verses. And he uses a very interesting metaphors to kind of so that is to make me not be a playlist artist.
Right.
I want to be a record album artist,
Right.
and having an EP. I'm still going to promote every song individually, but a person can go and find me, and there's a project that they can actually dive into. But it's not a whole record. It's
Right.
not 12 songs.
Right.
It's small enough to give you a kind of sample of who I am and what I'm about.
And I think
And
that's the area that we're in because because attention spans have dwindled. You make a good point.
exactly,
I mean, people aren't dropping the needle anymore and sitting there for an hour and enjoying an album,
exactly.
the way they used to. And if you're not an established artist and you're starting out and you put out 10, 12 songs, no
Yeah.
one is checking out your deep
No,
cuts. They're going on there
no,
and they're finding the 2 songs that they like that you do, and
exactly.
that's all they're going to listen to. And then you've poured all that blood, sweat, and tears into 12 songs, and really
And
probably
it says
4 or 5 would have served you better.
exactly,
You know?
exactly. So, and save you some money, which you
Yeah.
can use to promote. Yeah. So that's one aspect. Like I have to be very particular about how I'm perceived as an artist.
Sure.
Right. I'm not an influencer, so I'm not gonna be showing you a day in a life videos or whatever. Maybe I can talk about my favorite records, maybe whatever, but it's all related to my music. I'd rather have 100 views on a video about my music than 200,000 views about some unrelated thing, right? Because I'm not here to be an influencer. And then the other part is, invest money in marketing and promotion, to get these songs out on social media, etc. Because the end goal is, it doesn't matter how many streams you have on Spotify, which is a farce, right?
Sure.
Because I'm learning a lot. There's a lot of artists out there with 1 million Spotify monthly listeners that can't sell a venue. Right? You gotta, if you can't pack 200, that's the basic start. And the music business has always kind of been like that. Like you only starting when you can pack 200 to 300 clubs. So the goal is, how do I do that? And also the other part is, I don't promote outside of the United States and Canada right now, because those are places that I can actually reach. Those are places that I can actually go to and book a show, etc. Because if people are loving my stuff in Cambodia, I'm not like, when am I going to fly to Cambodia and play a show? And $75 for people that's a monthly salary. So it makes no sense that I'll be promoting. So that's why, I would rather have 1,000 streams of real people who are local, who I can actually reach. Because 1,000 people is a lot, even though we get so caught up. So if you're a solo artist or an indie artist, and you play in front of 300, 200, and it adds up to 1,000, that's a really successful tour.
Absolutely.
So that's how I'm seeing it, as in a practical way of like, how do I make this tangible into a 3D? Keep it local, promote, spend money to promote, and then take that and try to turn it into live shows. And from there, then I might start expanding to Europe and so on.
And so what is the your ability right now to play live shows and tour? Because obviously, being an independent artist, I mean, you might not have that luxury. I know even established artists, sometimes they're tethered to a day job. They can't necessarily go away for 2 months or 2 weeks even, you know what I mean? So what kind of flexibility do you have in terms of being able to tour and be able to play live?
So once my plan comes to fruition, the goal of being able to preemptively sell tickets, not guessing, because think of it as a business. how do I get people to buy? How do I get people to come to the show, etc.? So I promote it online, start selling tickets. So let's say I got a couple shows in the tri-state, and maybe, South Carolina and North
Mhm.
Carolina,
Yep.
and Atlanta, Georgia. Um, I'm able to take some time off work. I'm gonna be away for my vacation 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Take those 2 weeks, and plan out, the tour. But the great thing is, I know I have sold out tickets, or sold enough tickets that I'm not going to be playing in front of an empty crowd.
Right.
And,
Right.
and also I've accounted for the travel and the band, and etc. And also having merch that will also, I can upsell
Yep.
to be able to make out for that. So that's exactly what it is just book some leave for vacation time, and
Yeah.
then go on tour.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so obviously, it sounds like, if I'm getting this right, that your game plan is certainly to focus on EP over LP, though, which does seem to make sense in today's music world. It does.
Yeah. I'll I'll eventually start. I'll think about making a record
Yeah.
when I put out an EP and it does well.
Yeah.
And I still need to be able to define what that is, but it has to translate into more tangible
Right.
things. So if I put out 5 songs and people are listening to it, and all the songs are getting streamed, and people are asking for more, then I can be like, well, let's put out a record,
Right.
an LP of 9 songs,
Right. Right.
a nice odd number so it doesn't feel overwhelming,
Right. Right.
or 8 songs, um, and, and put that out. So that's the goal. Is it's like fishing. Just see see what bites,
Yeah.
and if there's a demand, then you put out a whole project. But
Now you've obviously got a couple songs out right now. Are you a big one for looking at feedback and criticism? Like, you've got Honey on Toast. You've got some other songs out right now. Will you go on and look under YouTube or Facebook or whatever and see what people are saying? Are you a big one for checking out what people think of your music?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So here's the thing.
I know sometimes that's a slippery slope and a double-edged sword, because
Yeah,
obviously you want to see positivity, but you also want to see so I guess you have to weed out those negative comments and see,
yeah,
geez, what do people not like about it too?
yeah, yeah. You you know be discerning. Use Providence to
Mhm.
know what is of value and what isn't. If
Right.
somebody says, "Yeah, this sucks," well, it's not adding anything.
Right.
But if somebody says, "This is great," but maybe the mix, I can't really hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
and if you hear a couple of those, you begin to be like, "Oh, noted."
Right.
Or the song feels too short.
Yeah.
I feel like it's rushed. Okay, noted. I'm in the comments always, because
Yeah.
I'm just starting out. There will come a time where it'll probably be a lot more than I can handle. I know on Facebook, it's slowly getting to a point where there's a lot of comments that I can't keep up.
Right.
Because it's hard to sit down for an hour and respond to every
Sure.
comment. But right now I can still do that. So I'm in there, I'm responding, I'm trying to create conversation to show that I appreciate and I'm grateful for the audience, the people that are showing interest in the work that I'm doing. So being criticized or challenged, I embrace it 100%.
You
And
have to. Yeah.
my whole life is creative in one way or another. Like whether it's graphic design or animation or all of these things, it's still out facing somebody telling you, "Yeah, I don't get this."
Right. Right.
Um, it's my job to be able to say, okay, how do I take this complicated idea
Yeah. How do I
and
make you get it? Yeah.
turn it
Yeah.
into a simple headline?
Yeah.
That's what my
Yeah.
responsibility is.
Now,
Yeah.
you've mentioned that you are a relatively new artist. Obviously, as I said earlier, the music business more complicated and confusing, it seems like, than ever now. Did you have reservations about throwing your hat in the ring and saying, I'm all in with the music thing?
That's why I started this now and not, you know, um, a while back,
Yeah.
because I've had reservation.
Yeah.
I was ready to die with this desire in my heart,
Hmm.
because I was not willing to do certain things that were required. Um, and there was a time, it's starting to shift again because it's always shifting. But there
Right.
was a time where all the music marketing gurus were essentially saying you can't be an artist until you become an influencer.
Right.
That's just part of the gig. Um, and I was just like, all right, I guess that's it. You
Yeah.
know, I'll write my songs and I'll listen to them and fall asleep to them,
Right.
and that's
Right.
fine.
Right.
But now I'm realizing that's not true. It's a slow burn, but once you get there, it's real.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I can do a cover of a very popular song
Hmm.
and do it really well, and then put it online and then do another and another, and then I'll be getting all these amazing views and response and people telling me how great I am and all these. um but your music, your songs choke. uh,
Right.
and 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 very few have been able to move from the cover person to my own music and still have an audience.
Right.
um so, or you can put out your own songs and get 50 views for a year,
Right.
until, and then 51, 52, until you build a little audience. But
Right.
it's your songs.
Right.
And there was no compromise in, I wasn't, showing you a day in the life or vlogging or,
Right.
uh,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
I totally
yeah,
get that. I kind of took that same philosophy even with this podcast. Started out just with a love for music and a love for
yeah,
boxing. I do two separate shows on my channel, so it was very hard to get guests at first because you're trying to pitch the show and say, hey, will you come on? And when you got 500 views and 15 subscribers, people are just like, oh, is this really going to help me? I mean, this is not
yeah,
exposure. And
yeah,
slowly you build it up, and now I'm around 1,500 subscribers. So you start to get people to tap in and say, I want to keep coming back. I like what you do. I like the way you interview
exactly.
people or whatever. You know what I mean? And yes, even just having a small devoted, am I Joe Rogan or 2 million people watching my episodes? You know what I mean? And tapping in.
Yeah.
No, I might probably never be at that level. You know what I mean?
But the thing is,
It's been very grassroots and very organic. I know some
exactly.
podcasters go on and they pay for bots and they pay for views, and I never
Mm,
want to do that. If people
yeah,
truly want to watch me, man, I want to know that, hey, they're subscribing because they like the guests, they like the
yeah,
content.
yeah, yeah. Because more and more, this is starting to ring true,
Yeah.
right? Um, think about it. Record labels have always been very good at playing with numbers.
Right.
Um, and yet we independent artists trying to match those numbers and realize we don't need them, right? So, like first week sales is like, why do independent artists get so caught up in it? Like, why do you care?
Right.
Just keep promoting it until it reaches some kind of pinnacle. And
Right.
also,
Some albums are out for a while before they catch fire.
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
nobody really cared about Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses is a perfect
Yeah,
example, man. And then it was out for like 2 or 3 months, and then the Welcome to the Jungle video came out, and then everyone was like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly,
you know?
exactly. And I mean, there's so many stories like that
Yeah.
of great artists where that put out a record or a song for some a year or two, and
Yeah.
then people were like, oh my God, this is great.
Right.
So that's why, like, if you have a 1,000 monthly listeners who are actually real people, who are within traveling distance.
Right.
That's a lot more real. That's a lot more interesting than I know that for, if I take my music and start marketing that in Brazil, my numbers will look amazing.
Right.
But it's not tangible
Right.
because in order for me to turn it into a 3D real thing, it's not, you know, economically it won't make sense. It's like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna go to Brazil. How often am I gonna go to Brazil? And how much am I gonna spend to get there? And how much am I gonna make in return?
Right.
But if you keep it real here, it forces you to be really good, and also there's no fluff, there's no fat. It's just
Right.
lean truth on what is really happening.
Right.
There's not an overblown idea of what's happening.
Right. And those overseas fans will see that there's a groundswell of support growing here, and that
Yeah,
makes them anticipate, your arrival and playing over there even more.
exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly.
There's an anticipation, there's an excitement that builds for other countries to say, wow, we need this guy to come here.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Well, because how often do you hear stories of people that are like, I got 1 million monthly listeners,
Yeah.
and I try to book a tour and nobody came,
Right. Yeah.
because it's all spread out all over the world.
Yeah.
All right, so it's like, all right, Timbuktu really loves the music, or Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is a big place.
Yeah.
So if you decide to go to like Russia, okay, you're in Moscow, but Russia is a huge place.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody in St. Petersburg and Moscow, they're not gonna travel.
Right.
So it's kind of thinking of it that way, make it very tangible. Like right now, I'm looking in a very real data. Like, it seems like Texas, out of all places, Texas seems to be one of my biggest audience.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that, but I know how to get to Texas.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's possible to go and do a little Texas tour
Yeah.
because it's within reach.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's in like spread out all over Europe, I just,
Yeah. I think the
what?
Texas thing kind of makes sense because I mean, on some level, not to compare you directly to these people, you know what I mean? But Gary Clark Jr. has done well down there.
Yeah.
Leon Bridges has done well down there. You know what I
Yes.
mean? There's something to that throwback sound that, like,
Yes.
Texas seems to embrace that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. There's that, and also, where's a lot of New England
Yeah.
shows a lot of love. Canada,
Yeah.
Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver,
Yeah.
and these are all
What's the business game plan? Are you interested in shopping this music to a label, or does it make more sense to stay DIY?
ideally. I would love to have a label
Yeah.
to work with, because whether you have a label or not, the process is the same,
Yeah.
right?
And you do
But
still got to do a lot of self-promotion.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So having people out there who know how to work the stuff is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
But I just want to be in a place of power, and where if they come to me, I'm not just throwing everything to them.
Right.
It's like, you guys can see it, I can do this, and I've been
Right.
doing this. How are you gonna make this better?
Yeah.
Because if you guys don't know, then why would we need to work together?
Right. Right.
So yeah, it would be nice to get a label, because I mean, all my heroes were signed by labels,
Yeah.
and I know the responsibility that as an artist that you need to have, right? It's like we sign a deal, we're gonna co-work together. I need to be able to produce music that sells,
Right.
and I need to be able to be out there and promote,
Right.
which I do just fine.
Yeah.
While you guys, help me with like resources and connections, etc.
Right.
Yeah, that would be definitely helpful.
And so currently, right now, if I'm not mistaken, so what you have out now that I'm looking at on my phone right now on Apple Music is Something for Now, and that was
Yeah.
a collection of just 3 songs.
Yeah.
And the one that I see all over the internet, very catchy, Honey on Toast. But
Yeah.
you've got 2 other songs, man. But for some reason, it says on here Something for Now, and it's listed as a single. Is that because there's only 3 songs? It's not enough to justify being called an EP?
To be honest, I don't know.
I don't
noticed
understand
that.
it all either. Yeah.
I don't know.
For people that think I might be crazy, yep, there it is right there. I
No.
don't know if you see it or not, but it says Something for Now, and it says single, but there's 3 songs underneath.
I know.
I think of a single as 1.
And I went back because I changed the cover art and changed the names.
Yep.
In a way that was more palatable. And it still says as a single. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's the way, or maybe I need to upload it in a certain way. But we'll see for the next project.
I don't know if there's a set number that justifies it being an EP. Like maybe it's got to be at least 4 or 5 songs or something like that. To fall into that EP category. I don't know how the streaming platforms, you can make that determination.
Yeah. So we'll see. Something for Now Part 2 is coming out.
Okay.
By April, mid to late April, and really start pushing that all the way, and maybe drop another EP just until there's enough movement where I can justify putting out a whole record.
So are you always writing songs? Like, do you already have these songs already prepared, or are you writing as as you want to put out projects, or do you just have a stockpile of songs already and you're just releasing them?
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of both, right? Okay. I'm always sort of like writing, or I don't write a lot. I don't know how these artists do it. Sometimes I don't believe it when they're like, "Oh, I wrote 100 songs and I chose 12."
I've got notebooks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's nice. Define, is it finished? Because ideas and songs are completely different things.
Sure. Yeah.
I work with like 20 songs. And each song got like maybe 50 versions of it.
Yeah.
So I just work each song over and over again, whether it's like, maybe I should slow it down. Should I speed it up?
Right.
No, that line is not, let's rework the lines, the chords. Let's, maybe make it a little more jazz.
Yeah.
Or it needs the blues. Why don't you turn the whole thing and make it into a rock song? So essentially that's what I do. I just go back and forth with these songs. So I have stuff ready to be turned into full records, full songs rather. And it's just a matter of like start to track the vocals and then get the proper guitar take. If it's piano, get that laid out, and then send it to a drummer. Once we have the drums done, then the rest is just building a house.
Yeah. I can hear your sound, and you're coming from a lot of different places. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, you can hear elements of soul, you can hear elements of funk, you can hear elements of R&B, indie rock, or whatever. And I know the music world is huge on pigeonholing artists into a specific genre. Do you identify with a specific genre? What would you tell people? Hey, here's the genre that my music falls into.
In terms of ideally, I would love to be seen as a rock artist.
Yeah.
That's my, whether that is true in terms of its actual sound.
Yeah.
That's for the audience to decide.
Right.
But with my next EP, there will be probably 2 songs that are rock songs.
Okay.
But I also, at the same time, I'm very much aware not to move too far away from the thing that actually getting me going, which is that sort of soul, 70s soul R&B vibe, etc. But you know, I can still take that sound and just add a little distortion on it.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so ideally, you know, if somebody say, "What music do you make?" I'm like, I make rock music,
Right.
but it's rooted in its cradle, which is the blues and soul and gospel.
Yeah, because it's tough. You see Honey on Toast out there so much, popping up, and you see you sitting there with an acoustic guitar and doing what you do. It's easy to say, you know what I mean, this is kind of folksy, this is kind of indie rock, you know what I mean, like this, but you could also make a claim that, hey, like this guy is coming off as a soul singer, you know what I mean, or R&B, but with a guitar, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe the genre for you has not even been invented yet,
and we'll see more and more, because it's so interesting how, like I said, I'm very involved in the comments and it's been really interesting and beautiful to kind of experience all of that. But people have thrown all kinds of things. Sometimes it's Jack Johnson, or it's Van Morrison. Some people would say, "Oh, it's Bob Dylan," or some people would say, Ben Harper. Yep. Oh, you know what? I haven't heard. I've heard once, which is so interesting because I thought I would hear that more. Because that's kind of like, it helps me sort of define, because he's very broad. It's like, what would you say his genre is? Ben Harper. It's
I would say he's kind of like a roots rocker. You know what I mean? Roots rock. But I watch you do the Honey on Toast thing. You know what I mean? You're not plugged in. You're using an acoustic guitar, but I could see that song if it was plugged into an electric guitar, even giving off like Lenny Kravitz vibes too.
So rootsy rock is probably the best definition of that. And that's kind of where I would like to live, in that space.
And so what do you have coming up then? So like, when should people who want to tap into what you do, man, when should they expect new music from you? Obviously, I'm telling people they can go to the streaming platforms right now and listen to what you have out right now. And that came out when? At tail end of 2025?
When was it? November?
Yep.
I think November. Came out in November. April. I'm releasing Something for Now Part 2. It will be 4 or 5 songs, probably 5. And it will just be more of showcasing what I do. And I have some interesting songs that I love, and I think they're great. And I also want to showcase a little more, blues, southern rock that I do, and still have that acoustic thing going on. And there'll be a song or 2 where it's just me on acoustic, and keep it raw and keep it real. So April is probably when I'll drop that.
Okay. And now, before I let you out of here, because I know we talked about the social media presence being so prolific nowadays. If people are interested in checking you out, where's the best place?
I'm essentially everywhere. If you just look for GAEL Evers, you don't even have to put the 2 dots. It should be able to pick up when you say GAEL Evers.
I like the 2 dots. I'm thinking of finding a space in my name to put 2 dots. I want 2 dots. For God's sake.
It's great in terms of everyday life, but on your actual documents, like passport, it's not there. So I'm essentially GAEL.
Right. Nobody wants to play ball when it comes to documents. And plus, I'm obviously using a podcast name. My name is not Rexx Ruger, but if I were going to put the 2 dots, man, I think I'll do them on the second X.
I love that.
I kind of really throw people a curve. Like, what are you trying to say here?
No, I love that. And also, I love
over the X.
I love that you are into boxing, because I love boxing too. It's, I don't know. It's such
I try to let people, when I do my boxing podcast, sure, I interview boxers on there, man. But what I really hope people see when it comes to boxing is not just their brutality, man, but how it's really 2 guys in there playing like mental chess. You know what I mean? It really, when it's done right, it's really beautiful and poetic to watch.
Terrence Crawford is a great example. Who else is really
Yeah, I mean, what he's doing in there, yes, he has great physical attributes and skills, man, but what he's doing in there is 90% mental, really.
exactly,
You know,
exactly,
it's the art of hitting people and not getting hit. You know what I mean?
exactly,
I think people just think you're going in there to punch people, but you also have a guy throwing punches back at you.
exactly,
You
and they
know,
know how to punch.
yeah,
'Cause,
yeah, and they know what you're doing, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, who's your favorite boxer?
My favorite, Jesus, man, I feel like that answer can change on a lot of different days or whatever, man.
As it should, as it should.
You know, and I've been blessed to have like so many great guests on here, both legends and a lot of young up and coming guys. Right now, I really love this guy, and he's based actually down in Brownsville. His name is Bruce Carrington. They call him Shoo Shoo.
Oh wait, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's based out of Brownsville. He just won a world title in the featherweight division. So he fights at about 126 pounds. He's a great young guy. I've had him on the podcast a couple of times. You know what I mean? Just a really charismatic guy. You know what I mean? We're so happy. He just won the world title a couple months ago, and it was televised or whatever. And I was so happy for him. You know what I mean? He's a good young up and coming guy. He's got a great backstory and a tragic backstory. That there's a good little documentary out on him. He did lose his brother down there to gang violence. You know what I mean? So he's been through a lot, man, but he's really rallied. He's got a great family and a great support around him, though, man. But and he's right down there out of Brownsville, New York.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite guys going right now. Yeah. Bruce Carrington, but they call him Shoo Shoo. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I'll go and check it out.
He's really fun to watch too. Yeah. But listen, I'm really enjoying it, man. I'm a fan. And listen, as you're releasing projects, man, now that I'm tapped in with you, man, you definitely are welcome. You have a platform on here. I would love to have you back, man. Yeah, I'd love to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Man. Yeah, I'll email you and I'll send you my number.
Oh, yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great. We'll keep in touch.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it, brother. It was really fun talking to you, man.
Yeah, you too.
I really am enjoying the music, man. And I like to have independent artists on here, man, because, I think this is a good example of when technology works. You know what I mean? We sometimes go down that rabbit hole of just staring at our devices, but sometimes I'll go on and the algorithm will point me in the right direction where I'll be on the Apple Music and they'll say, if you like this, check this out. And sometimes it works and I find new artists, or I'm surfing on Facebook and because they know what I like, you know what I mean? I'll see somebody like you, come across my feed. And this time it really worked out great because I enjoy what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's nice to know as an independent artist on some level that, people are out here hearing this stuff and they are going to tap in,
And that warms my heart. Yeah. All right. So
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you, man. Yeah. And as soon as I put the episode up, I'll send you the link.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
So much. All right.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Right. Bye.
Later. There he goes, folks. Great young man. That was a great conversation. That happened very organically, by the way. I literally, within the last couple of months, came across the music of GAEL EVERS. And I implore people to go check them out. Now, I know I have a lot of rock, heavy metal music on here, which I love and which I'm passionate about. But I never have made the claim that this is strictly a rock and metal show, as evidenced by the fact that I've had, Jack Hughes from Wang Chung on. I've had Trevor Steele from the Escape Club on. I've had hip-hop artists on. I've had my guy Casablanca the God, a hip-hop artist out of Buffalo, New York. I like to just have amazing artists on. And, and I think it's also important to appeal to many musical tastes, regardless of what my own taste is. And my taste is very eclectic. It's all over the place. Sure, there's a lot of rock and metal on this podcast, but I hope people are open-minded in making their musical choices and deciding what they want to listen to, and that they are at least open-minded to give music a chance, whether they end up liking it and fully embracing it or not. I think it's important to keep the door open and not close yourself off and say, I'm a metalhead and everything else is crapola. That's not a great way to look at music, and you miss out on a lot of potentially amazing art and a lot of amazing artists and a lot of creativity that you might find that you enjoy and can make a little room for in your musical taste, where you might say, you know what, I'm going to take a break from the metal, man, because this is my guilty pleasure. I like what this artist does. I like what this guy does. And I have a little room in my day for a few songs by this artist. And that's the way I feel about GAEL Evers. I came across him organically on Facebook, and I really love what he does. It's very folksy. It's very indie rock. It's very roots rock. It's very soul-based. There's elements of R&B. There's some funk. You get vibes of all those guys that I named in the interview. Gary Clark Jr., maybe some old school Terrence Trent D'Arby, some Leon Bridges, if anybody's familiar in these artists, possibly even hints and elements of Prince on some level. I really like what this guy does. Make your own assumptions, but give it a chance. That's all I ask. It's GAEL Evers, GAEL EVERS. I don't know why I'm spelling it, because it's going to be in the description of the episode, but I just felt the need to do it. Great conversation, though, with a great young artist based out of New York City, an indie artist. If he's coming around your way and you like what you hear, go out and support him. He has merch on the way. Get out to a live show, show some support, get over to his Facebook page or his Instagram, give him a shout out, let him know that you like what he's doing. This is the way we lift up independent artists, and we push them out there to find success of their own. So, and I think this guy is going to be very, very successful. He obviously has a game plan. He's approaching the music industry very tactically, and I think he has structured himself a feasible game plan on how to release music and how to find to carve out his own success. So I wish him a lot of luck. I'm enjoying what I'm hearing so far, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from him. So that is GAEL Evers. I appreciate him being on here today. Now let me give you guys the 411 on how to get with us one more time. Check us out on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. As I mentioned, I have 2 shows. For you pugilism fans, I got you covered with Off the Couch Boxing. For you rock, music, metal maniacs, I got you covered here on PodScum. You can find out what's going on with both shows on that Facebook page. Instagram, same handle. I've dumbed it down for you. I've dumbed it down for myself. Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum is our handle over on Instagram. And if you're watching us right now, this is where you really need to be to catch the episodes, the full episodes. So like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to stay tapped in with us. Again, thanks to my viewers. Thanks to my subscribers. Utmost thanks to my guests, specifically today's guest, GAEL Evers. Really appreciate him coming on. We will definitely be having him back on again and hearing much more about him. And I implore you guys, go check him out. Give his music a chance. Your boy Reckless Rexx does his best to never steer you wrong. So, be open-minded and take a recommendation and approach it with an open mind and open ears and an open heart. That's all I can really say. Till we get together and we do this thing again, this is your boy Reckless Rexx reminding you all to take it easy and keep it sleazy.